Right, welcome to the Natori Ryu video. This is preparing your katana part 2 and we're going to be dealing with the Sageo cord today. If you've not seen part 1, I recommend you go and see part 1. Remember, Natori Ryu, we use this Sageo cord. I will put a link to it in the description below. Now remember, if you buy anything from Katana Mart, then use the code on the screen now and you should get a discount, so make sure you use that. Katana Mart will have these types of things in and out of stock depending, so I'll put what links you need below. So you are going to need two Sageo cords. One is for your katana, one is for your Wakizashi, but also we're going to chop this one up and we're going to use it here, and I'll explain that in a moment. Right guys, with the Wakizashi one, for the moment put the Wakizashi stroke tanto away, and what you need to do is get enough here, so put it in a loop, and you need enough for you to put your wrist through, but also it needs to be enough to go around this part here and to be pulled through. Pull it through like that, and it still needs, so when you're going to stitch that there, it still needs to be able to put your hand through. So you need to measure it for your hand, and wherever that is, you will then cut that off there. So make sure you measure it for your hand first. Right guys, I've got some Gorilla Glue. It's really heavy duty, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the Gorilla Glue, and then I'm going to glue, I've cut that bit now, I'm going to glue those together for about an inch. And then after the glue is dried, I'm going to put some stitches through it. I won't video the stitching, I'll pull out my stitching bits later, but for you guys, just make sure you glue it and then put some stitches in for about an inch, and that should then be your udanuki. Now remember, this is our school, so it's Natori Ryu Gunsho no Mokoroku, and we are working from Heika Jodan. So this is basically important conversations for military families, and this is what it's talking about, things that are important. So of course we're going to Book of Samurai, and you can see here on page 13, you can see it there, it's called Udenuki Santoku. So it says to stop you dropping your katana longsword. With this at your waist, your appearance as a warrior will be most excellent, to enable you to hold the strap in your mouth when on horseback. So we've got the measurements for the udenuki, we've got everything there in other scrolls, which I'll put on the screen now, and this is how you should be applying it to your sword. Right, for the Wakizashi guys, I'm going from this, which is the Introduction to Japanese Swords Through Pictures, All Japan Association, Swordsmith Association. I am turning to page 18. Those who came on the Natori Ryu trip will have this book, so you just have to turn to page 18 guys. And we're going to do a knot called Myoga Musubi. It's a knot for the, it's a knot for your tanto stroke Wakizashi, or at least basically your side arm. There it actually is. You can see the knot at the end with the small ends. I'm just about to, well, I've just been tying mine, I've just been practicing it. I'm not going to take you through it. What I'm going to do is put a link below to a series of pictures that will go through the knot itself, and hopefully some guys on the hub will upload it for you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's Natori Ryu Hub Facebook, so maybe some of the guys will do it on there, but that's what you should be doing. Right, so here we are guys. This is I've done a bit of a longer one, because we had quite a lot of left, so I'm just about to cut and glue that now. So I'll cut it and glue it down, you know, the frayed ends, and that will then, when you put that in your belt, you can tuck it in and the knot stops it from coming out. Just practice this till you get it at the right spot. I'll do it again, I'll put it about there. Remember guys, in Natori Ryu we're using Katana Mart because they've kindly given us a discount, but what I'm going to do with this one is it came with an edge on it. Because I'm using these as my basically blunt ones, I've got a whetstone here, and I'm just going to blunt it, so there's definitely no edge on it. We've got to be careful here. You've got to make sure you differentiate between your sharp ones and your blunt ones. So there you go guys, there's the finished udanuki next to the original Natori Ryu udanuki. Of course we've gone for this specific Sageo cord, so that's what it should look like. So you take, there's the loop, you place that up, and you put on the cat's paw there. This goes round. Just straighten it up, it'll get twisted. Straighten it up. Right, the reason it goes this way, please be aware. Please be aware it goes this way. That, your sagio there, that must be on the outside. Can you see here? Not that bit out. It must be that bit on the outside with the blade up. That's because you're going to be wearing it in the in position, which means it's going to be blade up that way in your obi, which means everyone should be facing out that way. Now it's very important because when you draw the sword and you hold it, you're going to be drawing it, and then when you're holding it, it will naturally face up and be the correct way. So that's the way it's going to go. And it will also mean that when you're in uniform, it will be, with your sagio, naturally, everyone's will be this part out. So we put it here, okay? So one more time. Blade up. Stitched part up. Just rock it and roll it till it gets tight. Right up against the tsuba, which is the guard. That will hang at your waist like a warrior. When you need to, you put it in and you've got hold of the sword. That is the udenuki. Now, the hole for the udenuki is here. But the secret in our school is that we do not put it through that hole. This means that originally samurai did put it through the hole. But in our school, in Natori Ryu, we don't, and there's a reason for that. So what you do is a cat's paw around the top here, and of course the sagio. So let's have a look at the daisho together. Right guys, there's the Natori Ryu official daisho, how it should look. Now I prefer to use a smaller dagger instead of a wakizashi because I keep my wakizashi for shinobi no mono, shinobi no jutsu as shinobi no mono training. So what you want to do is, like Isui Sensei says, you get one with a smaller hilt. This is so you can obviously use it as a hidden dagger. So, but of course you should have an array of these things: an armor breaking one, a tanto, a wakizashi, things like that. But this is what it looks like. We've got the udenuki cord there, we've got the sagio, and we've got the dagger sagio, and that is how your daisho should look. We've got our hidden marks because when they go against the obi, or when that is wrapped up in the knot, which I'll do in a minute, that will be hidden. So there you go. That is how it should look, chaps, for each and every one of you. Remember, we've got katana blunt swords and katana daggers. So obviously go to the links below and use the code. These we will try and get to make available as easy as possible for you guys, so everybody's using the same one. So again, remember, we're going through sword stuff, so let's look at some terminology. This is the Royal Armories, so this is an introduction to Japanese swords, and we're looking here at the fuchi, which is the collar. So what we're going to do is use the fuchi. We're using a cat's paw around the fuchi. We are not using the udenuki hole. We are not using that. We are just using the fuchi, and we're using a cat's paw. There's a reason for this, and it's explained in the secret documents of our school. So there you go. So remember, get back to your books, use something credible. Then of course in the next book we'll have all the name parts, the traditional ones for Natori Ryu. Some of them differ from there, but it's always good to know the standard ones across the board. So remember, we've got the translation of Heika Jodan. We are working from our Natori Ryu Gunsho no Mokuroku. Now remember, Natori Ryu Gunsho no Mokuroku is there. So can you see it? Natori Ryu Gunsho no Mokuroku. This is page 2 of our book. And there it is. And there it is in Japanese. And we're working from Heika Jodan. And this is us bringing these ancient documents into real life. This is the secret way of our school of doing it. These are standard ways in Japan, and this is a more modern length. These are actually short in the Edo period. So guys, we've got the sword ready. Remember, what I want you to do is I want you to have the cat's paw at the bottom there, so it's hanging downwards, and that overhand bit there is on the outside. So remember, hanging down with the blade up, that is on the outside. The two go together, it goes around the fuchi. This one, of course, as you know, you will use and put when you've got in your hobby. So what happens here is when you go to draw your sword, remember this is not Iaido. Iaido is fast and it's meant to be drastic. This is for when you're prepping and you know you're going to fight. So we know there's a fight going on. I go in and I grab. And when I draw, now originally these were used for tachi. So remember, a tachi is that way up. So a tachi will have it like this. And then you go in and draw tachi style. But it also says it's for tachi originally, but Isui Sensei does say in Heika Jodan use it for katana. So you can swap this. You just take it off and swap it between your tachi and your katana. So here, of course, we'll be using, this is called in, the position of in, i.e., you know, in yo, yin yang. So that will go behind you. This will be ready. In you go, and you'll draw your sword, and there we are. We are ready for combat. And then if you drop your sword, it's okay. You can just literally pick it back up, and that's how you'll fight with this. Of course, then you just if you need to tighten it, you simply do that, and it will tighten. That's it. There you go, guys. That is the Natori Ryu Daisho, the sword set. Obviously we've replaced the Wakizashi with a shorter dagger, just because, but you don't have to. You can have a standard side Wakizashi if you want. Remember, Isui Sensei talks about 3 different types: the standard size, the smaller one, and the one with none. So there's the Shinobi Jirushi, the hidden mark, as you can see now. It's behind those. You can slightly see in the middle, but on the whole you can't tell what number it is, especially when you're going to get bigger, like say 100 or 147, you know, you're not going to be sure. But when you open them out, and that's hidden behind the obi, and when you open them out and put them on the wall, we'll be able to see that's number 1, and then nobody can mix kit up. So there they are, guys, with the knot in the end. Again, I'm going to retie that later and put it there. So you've got your udanuki there, all glued and sorted. And there we are. That's my dull pair. These are live. I need to get another 2 wakizashis so I can have a double pair of cutting swords. Because remember, when I've got 2 uniforms as well. So whenever we film, I have 2 sets. But this one is my one for training, personal training one. So there. So that, and again, that's where the marker is there, just on line with that. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. That is what your Natori Ryu set should look like. So please, can you get going? Make sure you click the link and get these. These Sageo, that's the correct one for our school. And remember, we use this to identify with each other, so we know we're Natori Ryu with this one when we're all together. So get going, get some pictures on the hub, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, guys. Okay, if you're interested, subscribe, and of course, all the information we are getting is from the Book of Samurai series.